question I often hear is, what are best practices for communicating with our board of directors when we're going through sort of challenging times or redirecting our priorities or adjusting our staffing levels? And so today I want to really talk a little bit about that particular piece of things. If we're reducing capacity, we're sort of reallocating some of the work we've been doing. How do we communicate with our board about that? And when we're communicating with our board, we are really required to be transparent, but we also want to be clear and solution-oriented. The board needs to understand any of the challenges you're facing and how you're planning to manage the situation, right? So if you're in a challenging time, that's not going to be a secret to your board. What they're really looking for is acknowledgement of that and what your ultimate plan is to address that. So here's a step-by-step approach I think you can use to help craft communication. The first thing, like I said, is being really transparent about the situation. Explain the reason you might be reducing staffing capacity and start by giving context about why the team needs to be restructured or downsized. Whether that's budget cuts, limitations on resources, or broader organizational changes. But just be really honest about the current reality. These folks are on your board. They're passionate about your mission and they're on your side. And we want them to really understand how we go from where we are today to what a new future state looks like. So acknowledge any changes and their impact on your marketing efforts. Clearly outline how reduced capacity is going to impact specific marketing activities. That might be campaign frequency, it might be the level of social media engagement you're able to do, or even supporting things like event planning. So a good example statement in this kind of case would be, due to the downsizing of our marketing team, we're facing challenges in maintaining our previous marketing output. This will likely impact our ability to roll out multiple campaigns or keep up with our usual social media presence, but we're taking steps to minimize disruptions. Next, you want to highlight what's being prioritized. So discuss your strategic focus. Share what you're prioritizing in your marketing efforts going forward and emphasize the most essential activities that align with your organization's current goals and your mission. So you're going to focus on high priority fundraising campaigns or donor engagement, whatever it is that is kind of the pinnacle of what your organization is aiming to achieve right now, and then provide a roadmap for that. Outline the key activities that will continue despite any resource adjustments or reduced capacity, and explain the rationale behind how you made those decisions. That's going to show your board that you have a clear plan in place. What does this look like? An example of this would be a statement such as, while our overall capacity is reduced, we're focusing on fundraising initiatives and core communication efforts that drive engagement with our key supporters. We'll scale back on less immediate activities like large-scale event promotions until we have the capacity to revisit them. Next, you want to present the impact to your organization and discuss the potential risks. So be upfront about any potential risks associated with reducing your marketing efforts. This might include slower engagement rates, fewer new donors, or delayed program awareness. And show the board your trade-offs. Help them understand what you're giving up in the short term and what might temporarily need to be put on hold. An example here would be, with fewer resources, there may be a slowdown in attracting new donors through digital campaigns, and our outreach efforts will be more limited. We're aware that this could affect our ability to drive significant growth in the next quarter, but we're focused on maintaining relationships with our current base and mitigating the impact on donations. Fourth, provide solutions and mitigation strategies and outline your contingency plan. Share how you plan to work around the reduced capacity. This might mean repurposing existing content, leveraging volunteer support, or focusing on lower-cost marketing tactics like social media or email campaigns. And consider alternative solutions. If it's possible, mention any opportunities to bring in outside help, like contractors or volunteers, that are going to help cover specific gaps. This can demonstrate that you're proactive about filling the void without increasing your budget significantly. An example of a statement here would be, we're implementing more strategic use of social media, repurposing high-performing content from previous campaigns, and focusing heavily on email marketing, which requires fewer resources. Additionally, we'll explore partnering with volunteers who have marketing experience to help with specific tasks. Fifth, reassure your board of your commitment and reaffirm your dedication. Let them know that despite these challenges, your marketing team is committed to continuing to meet the organization's needs to the best of their ability. So acknowledge the dedication and adaptability of your remaining team members and engage the board in supporting efforts. Ask for their input and support, whether that's through offering suggestions for resources, connecting with potential volunteers, or helping spread the word about campaigns. A statement you might want to share with your board here would be, Despite these constraints, we're committed to delivering high-quality marketing efforts with the resources we have. We're exploring every avenue to maximize impact and would appreciate any additional support or connections to help us bolster our efforts. Right? That puts a little bit of invitation out to your board members for them to think about ways they could engage or bring people that could get engaged in supporting your reduced capacity. 6, and this is a really, really big one, set realistic expectations and be clear about what the board can expect moving forward. You want to provide realistic timelines and expectations for what marketing will be able to accomplish under this adjusted capacity. That's going to help prevent any frustration or misunderstandings later. And if you keep the board updated regularly, maybe set a schedule for updating them on your progress, challenges, and adjustments, those regular check-ins are going to demonstrate that you're actively managing the situation. An example of a statement here for your board would be, we will provide monthly updates on our marketing efforts, including key metrics and progress on our prioritized initiatives. This will give you a clear view of how we're adapting and the results of our focused efforts. Finally, don't forget to request feedback and guidance. Engage the board for input. Like I said, inviting people in, but also sharing feedback on what you've been able to do and what challenges you might be facing next. Right? So encourage your board members to offer suggestions or advice on areas where they think resources could be more effectively allocated or where you might be able to do more with less. And I know that sounds like a scary place, but these folks are helping us look at the financial health of our organization. And so we really need to be very transparent in discussions about the resources we require. So open a conversation about where future dollars go. If the downsizing is temporary, then you can have a discussion with them about future investments in marketing once resources become available again, right? If this is not going to be a permanent thing, then you want to plan for what that future state looks like. An example of communicating something like this would be, if any board members have suggestions for areas where we might maximize impact, or if they have connections that could provide marketing support, we'd love to hear from you. Looking ahead, we'd like to discuss how we can invest in marketing for the next fiscal year. If you can do these things and be transparent and share a clear plan of action, you'll reassure your board that the marketing team is managing the situation effectively while still staying focused on achieving the organization's core goals.